Hello, and thank you so much for joining us again. Today we're going to be reading in the book of Daniel 4 through 6. Nebuchadnezzar, the king unto all people, nations, and languages who dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it was good to show the signs and the wonders that the high God had wrought toward me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore, I made a decree to bring all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazzar. According to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belshazzar, master of the musicians, because I know the spirit of the holy gods in you, and no secret troubles you, tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of my head in my bed. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height therefore reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof end of all earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof was much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it, the fowl of the heavens dwelled in the boughs, and therefore all the flesh fed in it. I saw in this vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beast get away from under it, the fowl from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with the band of iron and brass in the tender grass in the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man, and let a beast's heart be given unto him. Let 7 times pass over him. This matter by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he will, and sets up over the beast of man. This dream I, Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now you, O Belshazzar, declare the interpretation. Therefore, For as much as the wise of men and of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me this interpretation, but you are able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in you. Then Daniel, whose name Belshazzar, had atoned for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spoke, and Belshazzar said, let not the dream nor the interpretation therefore trouble you. Belshazzar answered and said, my lord, the dream be to them who hate you, and the interpretations thereof to your enemies. The tree you saw which grew was strong, whose heights reached unto the heavens, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts and the fields dwelt, and upon whose branches and the fowl of heaven had their habitation. It is you, O king, who are grown and become strong, for your greatness is grown and reaches unto heaven, and your dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw as a watcher, and a holy one comes down from heaven, saying, hew the tree down, destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even a band of iron and brass. In the tender grass of the field let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let its portion be the beast of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king. They shall drive that they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make you to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet you with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomsoever he will. And whereas they command to leave the stump of the tree roots, your kingdom shall be sure unto you, after that you shall have known that the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, oh, let my counsel be acceptable unto you, and break off your sins by righteousness, and your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor. It may be a lengthening of your tranquility. All this came to the king of Nebuchadnezzar. And at the end of 12 months, he walked into the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. Then the king spoke and said, it is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by might of my power and the honor of my majesty? While the words was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from you. And they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be the beast in the field, and they shall make you eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was this thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, till his hair was grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird claws. And at the end of the day, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned to me, and I blessed the Most High. I praised and honored him who lives forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he does according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. None can stay his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? At the same time my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my honor and my brightness returned unto me, and my counsel and my Lord sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellence, majesty was added to me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose work are true, and his ways judgment, and those who walk in pride he also to abase. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to thousands of the lords, and drank wine before the thousands. Belshazzar, when he tasted wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessel which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and the prince and his wives and the concubine might drink therein. Then he brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple, out of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king of his prince, his wives, his concubines, and drink in them. They drink wine and praise the gods of gold, of silver, brass, and of iron, and of stone. In the same hour came forth a finger of a man's hand, and wrote against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosened, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring an astrologer, the Chaldeans, the soothsayers, and the king spoke and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read the writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be third in rule in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make sense, nor make known the king's interpretation. Then the king Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance changed him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of words of the king, and by his lords into the banquet house, and the queen spoke and said, O king, live forever. Let not your thoughts trouble you. Let not your countenance be changed. There's a man in your kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the day of your father's light and understanding and wisdom, like wisdom of gods, was found him when the king Nebuchadnezzar, your father, was king. I say your father made master of soothsayers, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing hard sentences, dissolving doubts, were found in the same Daniel, with whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spoke and said unto Daniel, Are you that Daniel which are of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of the jury? I have even heard of you, that the spirit of the gods, is in you, and the light is understanding, and excellence, wisdom is found in you. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have brought in before me. They should read the writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of you that you can make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now, if you can read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, you shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about your neck, and shall be the third in the rule in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let your gifts be to yourself, and give your rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar your father a kingdom, a majesty, and a glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him also people, nations, language, and trembled with fear before him, whom he would slew, and whom he kept alive, and whom he would set up, and whom he would put down. But when his heart was lifted, and his mind hardened with pride, he deposed from the kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the Son of Men, and his heart was made like a beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. And they fed him with grass like oxen, and his body with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. And you, his son, O Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart, though you knew all of this. But you lifted yourself up against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before you. And your lords, your wives, your concubines have drunk wine in them, and have praised the gods of silver and of gold and of brass and iron, wood, stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know that the God is whose hands your breath is, and whose all of your ways have not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and the writing was written. And this is the writing that was written: Mien, Tekel, Ushar. This is the interpretation of this thing. Mien. God has numbered your kingdom and finished. Tekel, you are weighted in the balances and found wanting. Perez, your kingdom is divided and given to Medes and the Persian. The commandment of Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put chains of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third in the kingdom. In that night Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the kingdom, and over 3 presidents, with whom Daniel was first. The princes might have accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel preferred among the presidents, the princes, became an excellent spirit within him, and the kings thought him to be over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdoms, but they could find none occasion, no fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, we shall find any occasion against Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto King Darius, live forever. And the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, the princes, and the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save over you, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree, sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alter not. Wherefore King Darius signed, writing the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writings was signed, he went into the house, and his windows being open in the chambers toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled, and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spoke before the king concerning the king's decree. Have you not signed a decree that every man who shall ask a petition of any god, that every man who shall ask a petition of any god, or a man within 30 days, save you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, this thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alters not. Then answered they and said before the king, well, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captive of Judah, regards not you, O king, nor the decree that you've signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased within himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of the lions. Now the king spoke and said unto Daniel, your God, whom you serve, continually, he will deliver you. And a stone was brought and laid at the mouth of the den. And the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his Lord, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were there instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went hasten to the den of the lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spoke and said unto Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is your God, with whom you serve continually, able to deliver you from Israel? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God has sent his angels and has shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me, for so much as before him innocently was found in me, and before you, O king, I do no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt found upon him, because it was believed his God, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded that they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, their children, their wives. The lions had a mastery of them, and broke all their bones into pieces, all pieces, or even they came at the bottom of the den. Then Darius wrote unto all the people, nations, language, and dwelt in the nations, earth, peace, and be multiplied to you. I make a decree that every dominion of my kingdom, men's temple, and fear be steadfast. And he delivers and rescues his works against the signs and wonders in heaven, whom he delivers from the powers of the lion. So Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, in the reign of King Cyrus and the Persian.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God cover to cover in a year. I'm your host, Summer Day, and with me in the studio is Gwen Womack. How are you doing? Fabulous.
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me.
Are you kidding me? Thanks so much for being here and saying yes and being a part of this project. I'm excited. I don't know very much about you at all, so I can't wait to hear more. Tell me, where are you from?
Well, I'm actually, I live in the Arlington, Texas area by way of Charleston, West Virginia.
Oh, born and raised Charleston, West Virginia?
Well, born in Kentucky, went to Charleston, and moved to Texas 28 years ago with a Potter's House.
Awesome. Are you married?
Yes, I've been married to Wes Womack for 38 years.
That's a little bit of time. Kids?
We had 4 children, but we have parented 220 foster children, all females.
Wait, hold on, stop. I have never heard of anything like this.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.